Welcome to Archiversity online lectures. In this lecture, I am going to show you how to calculate, analyze and interpret receivables turnover ratio. This ratio is also called as debtors turnover ratio. To explain this ratio, I am using financial statements of two real companies. One is a industrial chemical manufacturer in India and the second one is Infratel in India. Receivables turnover ratio is also called as debtors turnover ratio. I prefer to use receivables turnover ratio instead of debtors turnover ratio because contemporary balance sheets do not have any item with the name debtors turnover or debtors. So contemporary balance sheets show trade receivables and trade payables. So that's the reason why I prefer using a receivables turnover instead of a debtors turnover. So how is that you are going to calculate a receivables turnover ratio is this equals to net credit sales upon average receivables or trade receivables. This is one. Alternatively, we can use net credit sales upon trade receivables. So I prefer using this one because as we analyze the companies independently year on year basis or for a particular year, so we use the closing trade receivables of that particular year only. However, if you are using a trade receivables, that is average trade receivables, then you need to average it, that is opening trade receivables plus closing trade receivables upon 2. So here by using this equation you will get a average trade receivables, but I don't think there will be a much difference between average trade receivables and trade receivables. Next is that in an annual report of a company, especially in a balance sheet, trade receivables are easily identifiable under the head current assets. So your trade receivables are current assets and you find this in a balance sheet of a company. On the other side, you will not find any item named as a credit sales. Instead of that, you need to consider revenue from operations. So I am not using a total income. I consider only revenue from operations, and this you will find in a profit and loss account. That is a statement of a profit and loss account. That means to calculate your receivables turnover ratio, you need these two statements. One is a statement of a profit and loss account, and the second one is balance sheet. Now here we have a profit and loss account of a Pidilite. So Pidilite is an industrial chemical manufacturer and adhesives. Popularly known as the Fevicol and all are manufactured by Pidilite. So this is a profit statement of a profit and loss of a Pidilite. And here you can see that the income is classified under two heads. One is the revenue from operations and other is other income. So while calculating receivables turnover ratio, we consider revenue from operations this as a credit sales. And here we are not sure that whether this revenue from operations is through cash sales or a credit sales, but we make an assumption that all the revenue from operations has been done in the form of a credit sales. So this is an assumption which we are making for revenue from operations. We are making an assumption that the sales are made on credit basis. So credit sales, and note 30 will give you the details of your revenue from operations, and here are the amounts. So these are for the two financial years. One is year ending 31st March 2019 and another one is 2020, and all the amounts are in rupees crores. So here in 2020 this is 6,332 crore, whereas in 2019 this is 6,093 crore. So we got a one item, that is a numerator, and to get your denominator you need to look at the balance sheet. So here is the balance sheet of the company, and in the balance sheet you need to look at the assets, current assets, and in current assets trades receivables. So here is a trade receivable, and you can see that there is no item named as a debtors. So debtors turnover ratio is visible only in a textbooks, but in a contemporary balance sheets you don't find any item of a debtor. So here we have a trade receivables at 806 crore and 774 crore. So we use these two values to calculate debtors turnover ratio. After calculating debtors turnover ratio, we will calculate receivables conversion period, and we try to interpret the values. Now just if we move little ahead, so here are the revenue from operations. So the company received revenue from operations in the form of a sale of a product, sale of a scrap, and export incentives, GST refund and all. Then your trade receivables trade receivables are in the form of secured and considered to be good, then unsecured considered to be good, unsecured considered to be doubtful. So after making a allowance, there is a provision for allowance for expected credit loss, your net trade receivables are these. So we consider net trade receivables for analyzing, and here this gives you an aging report. Aging report is just simply that what is the due and what is the credit loss. So up to 90 days, 91 to 180 days, 180 to 360 days, and above 360 days. So we are not much interested in aging at this point of a time. So our focus is on calculating the receivables turnover ratio. So our receivables turnover ratio, as we have an equation here, as I said, I prefer using this one, net credit sales, that is revenue from operations, and trade receivables for that particular year. So we calculate this for 2 financial years, 2019 and 2020. So your receivables turnover ratio is equals to revenue from operations upon trade receivables. So here our revenue from operations is 6093.88 crore in 2019 and 6332.59 crore in 2020. Then upon your receivables, so trade receivables will get from a balance sheet. So trade receivables are 774.98, and then 806.63. So our ratio would be 6093.88 upon 774.98, 7.86 times. We can say that we round off and say that 8 times, approximately 8 times is your receivables turnover ratio. And then for 2020, 6332.59 upon 806.63, 7.85. So more or less for both the years, the receivables turnover ratio is same, right? In the sense, what this receivables turnover ratio indicates is, so your receivables are converted into sales 8 times in a year. Using this, we can calculate receivables conversion period, or we can say that average collection period. That means from the point of a time of your sale, how many days it is taking for you to collect debts from your, or collect receivables from your customers. So average collection period, this equals to 365 upon your receivables turnover ratio. So for 2019 and 2020, I guess it would be the same. So 365 upon 8 and 365 upon 7.85. We can take 8 also here also. So 365 is number of days in a year. So this gives you your average collection period. So 365 upon 8, so 45 days or 46 days. And average collection period we mention in days. So 45 days, or we can say that 46 days. And here also it would be the more or less the same. So 365 upon 7.85. So 46 days. On an average, it is taking 46 days for this company to recover its receivables, in the sense when from the point of a time the sale is made and the receivables are created, from that point converting it into a cash, it is taking around 46 days. So, and this is one, then the company tries to minimize this one. Instead of going for a 46 days, it can minimize it to 30 days or 40 days, so that the turnover ratio will be increasing and the company will have more liquidity. This is one. And second is that with the average collection period, you can also plan for your working capital requirement, in the sense as the amount is blocked for a 45 or 46 days with your customers, you need that much of an amount for your working capital requirement. So the more number of days your average collection period is, the more working capital you require. So by minimizing the number of days, that is average collection period, you will minimize your working capital requirements. This is with the case of a Pidilite. And on the other hand, I sourced another company's profit and loss account and a balance sheet. This is the statement of profit and loss account and balance sheet for Bharti Infratel Limited. Bharti Infratel provides infrastructure to telecommunication companies. So here you have income. Again, we use only revenue from operations. So we have a data for 2 years. So 2019 and 2020. Here are the amounts, and all these amounts are in millions of Indian rupees. So your revenue from operations. Then we can see the receivables under the head current assets. So you have a trade receivables here. You can see the note here. Note for trade receivables is 11. Then so revenue from operations, sale of services, rent and energy total. This is the total revenue. And receivables here, unsecured considered good and significant risk in significant increase in a credit risk. So deducting with the provisions, that is the allowance for doubtful risk, you have a net receivables. So using these values, we will calculate the receivables turnover ratio. So your receivables turnover ratio, this equals to revenue from operations upon trade receivables. So for 2019 and 2020, your revenue from operations are 68,217 million, and here 67,383 million. This upon your trade receivables. So 5454 here, and 7715. So your receivables turnover ratio, this equals to 68,217 upon 5454, 12.50, and 67,383 upon 7715. So 8.73 times. Now we convert it into receivables, that is average collection period. So your average collection period is 365 upon receivables turnover ratio, and here also the same 365 upon receivables turnover ratio. So this is 365 upon 12.5, 29 days, and here 365 upon 8.73, 41 days. If you observe here, the receivables turnover ratio for the financial year 2019 and 2020 of the Bharti Infratel. So in 2019, the receivables turnover ratio is 12.5, whereas in 2020 it is 8.73. This indicates that there is a problem with the receivables turnover of Bharti Infratel, because the ratio has come down. The higher the receivables turnover ratio, the better it is. In the sense, the company is able to collect its receivables faster, and when it is low, it indicates that the company is not able to collect the receivables faster, and there is a delay in a receivables collection. This we will be knowing by observing the average collection period. If you observe here, in 2019 the average collection period is just 29 days. That means after making a sale, the company was able to collect the receivables within a 29 days. Whereas in 2020, they had a problem. They were not able to collect their receivables faster. So here it is, there is an addition of a 12 days. That means there is a delay of a 12 days in collecting their receivables in 2020. And that means as the company need to create a working capital requirement, additional working capital requirement for 12 additional days. So these ratios indicate that is the receivables turnover ratio indicates that the higher the receivables turnover ratio, the better it is for the company, which indicates that the company's ability to collect its receivables faster. That is, the collection period, the collection process is good. If the receivables turnover ratio is low, it indicates that the company is taking much time to collect its receivables. In the sense, they had an issue with, maybe they had a problem or issue with their customers, or they are pushing sales to the customers and not able to collect the revenues. So this is how you need to calculate the receivables turnover ratio of the companies, and these receivable turnover ratios vary from one company to another company. Right, in case of Pidilite, we saw that the receivables is average collection period is 45 days, whereas in a Bharti Infratel in 2019 the average collection period is only 29 days. So this is how you need to calculate, analyze and interpret receivables turnover ratio. Thank you. Thank you for listening to the lecture.